So today we begin Romans chapter 14. We're going to concentrate just on verse 1. Accept the one whose faith is weak without quarreling over disputable matters. So first of all, what Paul is saying is the person who is weak in faith, we don't need to run them down, don't need to peck at them like chickens peck at each other. By the way, let me go ahead and just give you this illustration a little bit further. If a chicken is injured, you have to separate it from the rest of the flock because the other birds will come along and just peck, 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 peck it to death. It will die. And we as Christians, we do that to each other. We find the person weak. We find the person who has gotten into sin and maybe has something they can't overcome, or maybe has something they need to grow in, and we just peck, 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 rather than lift them up and encourage them. The Bible says, accept the one whose faith is weak. Doesn't mean I have to go along with them and do the deeds they're doing. It just means that I have to be a loving brother to them, restoring them, kind of like what Galatians 6:1 has said, or realizing maybe they haven't grown as much as we've grown, and be patient with them and help them along, nurture them along. But the Bible says, without quarreling over disputable items. There are things we can argue over. We can argue over what's appropriate to wear. Now, you know, I get it. There's an extreme, and there are standards that we need to uphold. But there are times we get to nitpicking over things like chickens. And we can talk about the kind of music we listen to and the places we go, but realize people grow at different paces, and people grow at different times in their lives. Instead of being the arrogant brother or sister who puts up your nose and go, I'd never do that, we need to come alongside and help and encourage. That's what Paul is saying to us today. So as you go along today, be an encourager rather than a tear down. I have a friend who doesn't go to church. And I talked to her one time, and she said, church people are mean. Hey, you know what? She's right. She's right. As believers, we like to get on one another rather than encouraging. I just can't go on enough about encourage rather than tear down. Build up rather than tear down. Yes, we need to be salt. Yes, we need to be light. But we need to be salt and light in a spirit of love and encouragement, bringing along and helping to nurture the weaker brother. Want to read the whole devotional? Go to the link at the bottom of the page, and we'll see you tomorrow.